light. Shadows creep and crawl with every scream. Hear the echoes call. Synths and guitars in a haunting blend. An 80s vibe where the terror transcends. Shoctoberfest, scream until dawn. In your nightmares, the terror's reborn. Lights flash, monsters take flight. Embrace the darkness, it's a metal night.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Day 2 of Shoctoberfest 80s Rewind. Today's movie review, we're going to be going from the States all the way over to Italy. Italian horror is something of an enigma, because a lot of us, especially in the 80s, when it came to horror films, we are used to slasher films, some of the psychological and even the supernatural. However, there are real-life situations in history that are definitely horrifying and can be adapted into film. This one is definitely not adapted exactly from a historical event, but it definitely has some nods to some things that are pretty disturbing and also controversial. Today's movie is Eaten Alive by Umberto Lenzi. Our story starts off with people from all around North America, from New York to Niagara Falls and elsewhere, being taken out by a random assailant. And before some of these assailants can be taken in for questioning, one of them gets hit by a vehicle and does not recover from their injuries. While the investigation is starting to depend on why all these people are being taken out, we find a young woman named Sheila who is looking for her missing sister Diana, and it turns out that she is out near Southeast Asia, roughly around Thailand, where she is with a group of people that are doing bodily cleansing and also some form of a religious ritual. So she gets the resources and the help from a retired Vietnam vet named Mark, and they travel out to the area to see if they can find Sheila's sister. While out in that area, they do meet the head of this group named Jonas, who believes in a higher power, a higher being, and it turns out that his methods of cleansing his followers is through cannibalism and body modification. And when Mark and Sheila find Diana, they see that she is a little skewed mentally, and they try to get her out of that mind state. And she does seem to not agree with Jonas and his beliefs, but she is still skewed, and Mark and Sheila and Diana race for time in a cat and mouse chase of can they escape and will they escape. However, in the end, Mark and Sheila find a way to escape. Sadly, Diana does not make it out, and the group, before they can be questioned by military forces, self-take themselves out. That's the best way I could describe it, and that is the movie. Now it's time to talk about what I like and what I don't like about this film. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with what I don't like about this film first, because the list is fairly short. A lot of it for me has to do with the dialogue, because the plot is very cut and dry. It's that when you take a film from a different country outside of the United States, usually it's filmed in the native language, and dubbing can be either a hit or a miss. In this situation, the dialogue isn't necessarily horrible, it's the voice dubbing that can tend to get a little bit skewed. In this situation, the dubbing for the character of Mark comes off as overly sarcastic, overly, I wouldn't say campy, it can be unbearable. And for me, that really can knock the grade slightly, but not completely down to a horrible grade. That's pretty much the biggest gripe I have of the film. When it comes to what I like about this film, the presence of the plot, like I'd mentioned, when it comes to historical events, there's nods to it. And I'm going to tread very lightly on this one because there are people that probably have watched documentaries or were alive during the time of said historical event. The historical event in question right now, because of the ending, is very reminiscent to Jonestown. I'm not going to get into it completely, but I would say if you're not familiar with the concept of Jonestown, go online and search it, because when you see it, you'll understand why even I have a tough time talking about it. Another part that I appreciate about this film, especially in the horror genre, is the graphic nature. Because the fact is, in the 1980s, especially in the earlier years of the decade, special effects were all over the place. You either had some that were very hokey, or very creative, or very disturbing. In this one, because of the ways that people were being taken out, especially when I brought up that term of cannibalism, is that they used some special effects concepts that even Tom Savini would be clapping, saying bravo. And I actually was rather impressed with what they could do. Because with some of the methods to use special effects back then, it could get really difficult, especially the imagery and the method they were trying to convey. And they actually did a very, very decent job. Okay, it is time to grade this film. As I mentioned, the dialogue and the dubbing really threw me off a lot. I do appreciate what they did with this film. The best grade that I could give this one would be B+. B+, very much so. Because I do appreciate this film, as I said. However, the dialogue did annoy me at times, and it did tune out my attention span. However, in retrospect, if I ever go back and watch this with necessarily like subtitles, my grade might actually go up. But that is going to be saved for a later time, because we still have 29 more movies to go through this month. Well, we hope you enjoyed Day 2 of Shoctoberfest 80s Rewind. If you've seen this movie and you agree with me, leave a thumbs up, and if there are things that you disagree with me in, there is a comment section below. Let me know exactly what you liked that I didn't, because I do appreciate when people let me know things that I might have missed when I watch these movies. There's a lot of them to look through, and with time, I have to speed round these, and I appreciate the fact that you understand that from time to time. Other than that, make sure you share on social media, push that little red button and ring the bell for instant notifications. Let's get the subscriber list up to 500 by 2026. I really want to see more people invested in the content we have here on Dragonfire Entertainment. Until then, I'm Wildman Wes, and we will see you tomorrow for Day 3 of Shoctoberfest 80s Rewind. Take care, and as always, stay scared, kiddies.